Afternoon YouTube. Now in this video today I want to have a chat with you about setting the tone and also consistency with customers, and I think it's such an important lesson. It's something that, especially now, because everybody's having problems with customers, it's so important. It's how we hold ourselves and also how we sort of work and the sort of what we will sort of be leaving behind. I think it's so important because everybody has their own intentions, and unfortunately customers like to change the goalposts. So for me, it sounds so baby, it sounds so, and it's sad that you have to do this, but you do have to do it, unfortunately, because there's just some people out there that they either don't want to pay you very much or they don't want to pay you. You don't know this straight away. So I'll give you an example. So whenever I now do a mow and go, to be fair, most people probably do this anyway, but whenever I do a mow and go or take on a new customer, for one, if they just ask for the grass cut, I will always explain to them that it's not just a grass cut, because some people don't know this. So the lawn gets edged, it gets trimmed where I can't reach with the mower, that will be reached. It will also, the flats of the lawn around the edges, that will be trimmed. It will be then mowed and then it will be tidied up afterwards. And people don't know that all this sort of happens. They just think, you know, they're pushing the mower over it. Another thing I found with, especially with OPs, the husband could die and then the missus has got to take over, and it probably be that the husband's always looked after that garden. She's doing something, she comes out and it's done. She might not know the little nuances. So if you're saying I want £25 for that, she might think, oh well, my husband used to do that. She might not make the link. So I've had better luck by explaining to people. And another thing is, when I do the actual cut, the first cut, whether it's the first grass cut, the first maintenance visit, even gutters, so I'll take after pictures, and I will show them their own gutter. I'll make sure I'm at the bottom of his landmarks so they know it's bloody theirs, and I will show it to them that it's empty. Same with the grass. I will take them outside. I says, right, jump, come have a look at it. What do you mean? Oh well, I just want to show you the finish, and then it'll be like that every time. They'll come out, oh yeah, that's fine. Why do I do that? Why? It sounds like I'm worried about my work. I'm not. There's no, I know, and this is the same with you guys, when you go to do a job, you aren't worried about your work. You know you're going to do a good job. But I've had it before where people have come out. The one that started me off, especially this with mow and goes, I think it was not last season, the season before. This lady, I took her on for a grass cut. All she wanted was a grass cut. Quoted for a grass cut. Again, a quote is so important. I use a duplicate pad, so I've got a copy and they've got a copy. Quoted it, grass only, written down, shown to her, told her what, went through it all. About, say, 3 months into it, so probably 6 or 7 visits, she come out and she says, I'm going to have to let you go, Sam. It's nothing personal. And I could tell she was angry. She was, whether she was out of a comfort zone or whether she was angry, because of the situation. But she says, well, my borders it's just going to rack and ruin. You aren't even bothering with them. It just depresses me looking at, really laying it on. It gets me down looking out the window. I just can't take it anymore, so you've got to go. I'm thinking, whoa, what's going on here? So I find with people when they're like that, let them speak. So I let him waffle on, and I says, well, you've not asked me to do the borders. Now, her property, there was a small lawn. I think it was like a £20 cut, you know what I mean? So it's not like I was rinsing it for £60 a time. It was a £20 cut, I think. And it was a small lawn, and there was more borders than there was lawn. So anybody, if they would have asked that, they would have quoted that. And it's a case that she just didn't ask. And she says, yes, I did. And I says, well, is it on the quote? Yes, yeah. So I went and got my duplicate pad and I showed her. So this is your quote, this is your address. It isn't on there. Oh, well, I thought you would have done them. I says, no. I says, you only asked me to do the grass. I says, so that's all I've done is the grass. And at the same time, I have been doing this now for nearly 3 months. How come this is the first time you mention it? And she had an excuse for everything. I don't know what she wanted, whether she wanted me to do the borders for free, or whether she genuinely did think she asked and she'd been building up, or whether one of her friends had said, well, my gardener does the borders as well, why doesn't yours? I don't honestly know, but it was a situation that could have been nipped in the bud at the start if I went out and said to her, this is the result, are you happy with this? And then hopefully she would have picked up the borders hadn't been done. Actually, no, the borders haven't been done. Why haven't you done them, Sam? Well, you've not asked me to. Seeing as this is the first visit, I can include it on the quote for next one for you, and I will just put a little bit extra on, whatever. Also, that's one situation, one example, and also consistency. Now, for me, I find basically stick as you mean to go on. So, timekeeping. Now, I always give people what I refer to as like an Amazon window, where I'll say to them that I will be with them I'll give them a time window, morning. What's morning? Well, anytime between 9 and 12. Early afternoon, what's that? Anytime between 12 and 2. You know, I'll give them a time window, because unless it's the first job of the day, it's very hard to get an exact time. And this is something that frustrates me with people. They want an exact time. I say, oh, have you got to go out? No, we're in all day. Now, I can understand they want to plan the day, and if something comes up, but, you know, if I'm saying it's morning and, you know, they go out in the afternoon, don't they? It's just one of them. So for me, consistency. Don't give them an exact time and turn up late, you know, because then they're going to expect that, you know, that's going to piss them off, or they're going to think you're unreliable, timekeeping, whatever. Your work speed, you know, do what you want you're going to do every single time. Use the same tools, use the same methods, you know. If you want to cut a hedge, drop it on the lawn and mow it up, do that the first time, you know. Don't then change the way you do it. Your work speed, for me, I have just one speed, and it's just what I would class as, you know, an efficient manner. If I rush, I make mistakes, so I budget time. But the thing is, I've done it before. I've learnt my lesson from this. You'll go in with wanting to make a good effort and a good impression, so you'll be running around getting all this stuff. And luckily, I didn't forget anything, didn't make any mistakes, but the customer picked me up on it. Said like 2-3 visits later, just not as much seems to get done now, Sam. Have you just, you know, you're not bothered a bit, like accusing me of that? I says, well, no. I said, it's a case of we're on top of everything. Oh. So, you know, you can make a rod with your own back sometimes. So that's my sort of hot take on consistency and also setting a tone. Same with little extras. Some people will ask you to do a 2-minute job, that will be it. Some people will ask you to do a 2-minute job, and you'll be doing that forevermore. Now, for me, if it's a 2-minute job, I don't mind. Yes, it gets annoying if they ask you every single time, but there's some people who'll ask you to do a job that might be 10 minutes. The worst ones is, oh, could you just do this little bit of hedge? Oh, it'll take you 5 minutes. Well, yeah, it'll take me 5 minutes to cut it, but 10 minutes to tidy up, 5 minutes to put my tools away. You know, it's stuff like that. But this is the consistency part. If you do it once for free, you'll always be doing it. Yeah, well, some people will prey on somebody like me, you know, who's done it. Now, for me, I weigh it up. If it's a good customer who I've worked for years, and I know they're not going to take the piss, most customers know how I work, so they know that I like to do the lawn last and all the cutting and the pruning first. So basically, I can either blow it onto the lawn, or if it goes on the lawn, the mower tidies it up. And it's amazing how people watch and pick things up like that, because they'll ask me to do something and I'll say, oh, well, I'll ask you before you do the lawn. Or maybe it's their common sense, but some people don't. But for me, if it's a regular customer and I like them, you know, and they're good people, and they ask me to do something extra, I don't mind at all. I get often asked, quite, you know, it's like one of my customers, she's disabled, and she asked me to like reach something down from a cupboard, or to put cans of dog food away. Yes, it's 5 minutes, but you know, I class that as my good deed for the day. You know, I don't mind doing it at all. But then there'll be some customers every single time, oh, could you just, oh, I forgot to ask you, could you just do that, you know, and they know what they're doing, and they do, I'm sorry, they know exactly what they're doing, they're putting on you, and it gets annoying after a while. So that's it, guys. Consistency, it's so important in this game, it really is. Have a good day, guys. Keep on gardening.